Now, before we complete the קיצור of Sif Beis of the מאמר, we'll first preface the קיצור from the third Sif. That when I judge the creations, that's when I'm called Elokim. That expert judges are called Elokim, Lashon Srara, from the language of rulership, Rabbanus, and leading. Like it says, I've placed you as an Elokim for Paro, Rabba le Paro, a greater than Paro. Rav is in great. B'Sefer HaShorashim Ayah Lashon Koach, and so from Sefer HaShorashim, from the Radak, he brings that Ayah is from the language of strength. Ves Eli Ha'aretz Lokach, that he took the strong ones of the land. Val derech zeh im zroa ke'elach, like also too from the pasuk in Eov, if you have a arm like a strong man. Mi kamocha be'elim avaya, who is like you amongst the strong? Hashem hainuch bechazakim, meaning to say amongst the strong. Malachim nikro gam kem elim, so to the angels are called elim, ubnei elim, or the sons of elim, al shem hakoach vayicholos shenasan behem mimenu yizbarich, because of the strength and the ability that's given into them, from him may be blessed. Sheni, and there's another meaning to Ayo. It's a language of Elokus, Inyan Elokus. Vugamkin Inyan Kol Yochel. It's also the idea of that he can do everything. When we say, I will lift you up, Elokai the king, what does it mean to lift up the Elokai? It's like the verse, now I will greaten the strength of Adonai. So lifting it up is similar to giving strength. Giving strength to Elokim. The person who answers with all of his might. So what does it mean, Yehei Shmei Rabba? That the great name should be blessed, should be greatened. It's a similar idea of giving koach to the shame. So too the angels are called Elokim because of the ability that's in them, in accordance with the first way of explaining this shoresh of ayal, of strength. From the language of that he took the strong of the land. But not from the language of Elokus, so that's why they're called Elokim. But their strength and their rulership is all in accordance with the will and the command of the Creator may be blessed. And not from their own will. Like we brought in the קיצור, and like it's brought in the first parak of the מאמר about from Rashi, where the Malach says, I will greaten you, and Rashi points out it's not in their ability to add anything, to give anything. That's why the Creator may be blessed is called the Eloka of the Elokim. And according to what was explained in the first paragraph, the angels are called Elokim when they're messengers. Also because of the second explanation of the Shoresh, that it's godliness because they're being messengers from Hashem, and therefore they also are called in the name of the divine that's acting within them. But nonetheless, all their actions are according to the messengering, that they're messengers for him may be blessed. That's why he's called the Eloka of the Elokim, the koach of the godliness that gives the ability to the koach in the malachim, or the godliness that's mislabesh within the malachim that are messengers. Mebaladai ein Elokim, and other than me there's no Elokim. Vein Elokim imadi, there's no Elokim with me. Why is that? Kivin she'en biyadam lahara olahetiv. Not that they're not called Elokim, but it's because they themselves can't do anything. It's really only the Eibishter himself who's doing all of this, and they don't have the ability to do bad or good. Rak b'yado yizbarich, only in his hands may be blessed. Another reason that the angels are called Elokim, because they are alive and do not die. Like the pasuk, I said, you are going to be Elokim, but you made a mistake, therefore you're going to die like man. So that itself implies that if they were Elokim, they wouldn't be dying like man. That's why it says that those that serve him, the Yotzer Mishrasim is the ones Malachim he creates every day. Vasher Mishras of the Malachim that have served him and always serve him, that they don't go out of existence. Gulam Omdim, and the statement that they all stand, meaning to say that they have a ständig existence. They're a constant existence that doesn't go away. This is what it says, that therefore Hashem is greater than all the Elokim. And like it says in Tilim, that all of the Elokei of the nations are false. So how then are the Malachim called false? It's because they don't actually have the ability to do bad or good on their own. That's why it's written that he is awesome over all the Elokim. That the word Nora, like Hagadol Higibur Nora, the Nora is the third midah of Tiferes. So Nora who I'll call Elokim is the Tiferes over the Elokim. Aaron Osius Nora, we brought that Aaron, the ark, is the same letters as Nora Bechaye Pashas Truma Uksivini Aaron Habrisa Don Kol Arts, and it's written here is the ark of the covenant, the master of all the world, of all the earth. So we see that Adon, mastership, and the word Nora are connected. Nora who I'll call Elokim, that's why he's Nora over all the Elokim. That's why Tiferes has some kind of connection to this concept of Adnos. And that's why it says that using this phrase Adonenu, Adnos, that therefore Hashem is greater, Havaya is greater, and our master more than the Elokim. Ainu Adon Kol Haaretz Adon Haniflos, that is the master of all the world, the master of the wonders, Mikol Elokim, over the Elokim. So Adon Haniflos actually implies Pella of perhaps Keser, whereas Tiferes is lower than that. If we say that Adnos is in Zah instead of Malchus. I'm not sure. Usually we say Adnos is in Malchus. The Elokim we're talking about perhaps is in Biyah. But let's not guess exactly the levels here and why specifically Tiferes corresponds with this level of ruling over the Elokim. Mikol Elokim. So now the Medrash and Koheles and Dvarim, they praise the words of Yisro. And they explain his words that it's similar to what it says in Tehillim, that we don't criticize David and what he says. That David says in Tehillim that Havai is great and our master more than the Elokim Kanal, like we explained. And so they're saying that that's what Yisro is saying as well. Elokim is just like that. Now I know that Havai is greater than all the Elokim. And there in Tehillim it ends, it finishes, that everything Hashem desires, He does. That shows that they don't have any koach on their own. It's explained that what does it mean from all the Elohim, that the angels that are called Elohim al Shem HaKoach, because of the strength that's in them, Shem Sarim, that they're ministers, like Michael is the ministering angel of water. The Matat, it's called the ministering angel of the world. Similarly, it says higher upon higher, and guards, and higher upon them. And they're only the messengers for the flow. Therefore, the truth is that everything that Hashem desires, He does in the heavens and the earth. That He's the one that gives all the flow, and it's all coming from Him directly. So similarly, they explain the words of Yisro, that that's what his intent was. This is what it says in the matter that he had intended. That's what that's what happened to them. Because Hashem is the only one who can actually have the intention and cause to do whatever He wants. So when it says it's similar to like David was Messiah kol asher chafetz vayasa. And this is the meaning of the name Tzvos. That He's a sign amongst His army, among His hosts. That is to say that Hashem is greater than all Elohim. Greater than all the 120 combinations of the letters of the name of Elohim. That from these combinations is the gradative process through which creation happens, that they should be an entity and something for itself separate. So that's He's greater than all these combinations of the Elohim. The Shalah explains that Elohim includes other tzirufim as well. And to separate from the 120 combinations of holiness, and you have 120 combinations on the other side. And that's the Shalah's Pirush. That's Mikol Elohim, from all the combinations of Elohim, both sets of 120. And the Mechilta, the Medrash and Vaschanan, they criticize the words of Yisro, even though he does say that it's that whatever they had intended, it went against them because of Hashem's plan. Even though he says, because he says that, so you can't say that he's calling them the Elokav of the Elohim. But rather like the concept of a king who has ministers and important people that help him. And this is possible that this is the concept of Shituf, that the sons of Noach are not commanded on the belief in the Shituf, that there's something, so to speak, that helps Hashem in His job. And that's the mitzvah to make Hashem one, that we don't believe in the Shituf, that there's anyone helping Hashem. So that would be how the Medrash Koheles and Dvarim explain the words of Yisro. V'nachzor l'divrei hamedrash Rabbah Koheles v'hamedrash Rabbah Parshas Dvarim, and we'll come back to these two midrashim. Shemefarshim divrei Yisro l'shevach, the ones that praise Yisro. Oh, so it's right. It's the Mechilta and it's Vaschanan that criticize, and it's the Medrash Rabbah Koheles and Dvarim that praise Yisro. That they explain the words of Yisro in a praiseworthy way. And this concept that it was that they had plotted against, that's what happened to them. Because besides from the fact that He can completely change nature of things, but that only happens it's specific times and only once in a while. But the truth is, it's not just with the miraculous, but he rules over them constantly. Every hour, every moment. Like we say, on your miracles and your goodness that's with our that are in each day with us. And Gemara Nida, on the verse that he does miracles, great miracles alone, that the one who the miracle happens to does not recognize the miracle. That's why he's doing them alone. Meaning to say, though, that it's constant. Like the concept of you are the cause of the causes, that everything happens is from the cause of causes. And like the pasuk, that he causes the causes to flip. And all of the causes of things that happen are not away from him. And that's why it happens that thing that they had plotted to happen to them. And this a concept that even though the causes are enclosed within the garment of nature, they still come from a high place, from the miraculous that's beyond nature. So even within nature, really it's coming from beyond nature. Like the concept of that the Mamala and the Soviv are the same. That's the Soviv is in the Mamala. Because in order to be enclosed, that which is beyond nature, that it should be hidden and enclosed within the nature, it comes from a concept that's both higher than both of them, from beyond nature and nature. Misham nimshach chiburan yochad. From there is drawn that which unites them together. Dugmas ose shalom b'mroma bein mayim ve'esh. Like the concept of that he makes peace in his heights, in his heavens, between fire and water. From that which is beyond both of them. This is like also when you have two opposites in one concept. Like when you bring an elephant into the eye of a needle. Like the concept of break the pitcher but keep its wine from spilling. And if so, this that it says, now I know, that Hashem is greater than all the Elohim, that is to say, that even with the Elohim, meaning to say in this context, that it refers to the gematria of nature. That with the concept of nature was given the ability and the strength to the ministering angel of the world, that the world should conduct itself according to the natural order of the world. And from this comes the receive the 70 ministering angels of the nations. Even in this context, even in this concept, Havaya is greater than them. Because it shines from a concept that's beyond nature, to being clothed truly within the nature. So something even higher is shining. And this is the idea in that which they had plotted, that in the pot that they wanted to cook, they themselves were cooked. That he rules over the 120 combinations of letters that go to them. We can say, as is known with the concept of that he is a divine of two viewpoints, that there's two viewpoints in godliness. That from above to below, that above is the existence and below is incomparable, which is not the case from below to above. This is called something from nothing. The above is like the ayin and nothing. Now, a miracle that's beyond nature, that's revealing that higher viewpoint, that the nature is not truly existent. Now, in order to unite both of these opposites in one, that which is beyond nature, within nature, so that comes from higher than both these deos. That's the Kel deos, the one that rules over the viewpoints. That's the first tikkun, the first one of the attributes, who kol beis hadeos yachad, includes both of these viewpoints together. Like the concept of that the place of the aron does not take up any space. That unites two opposites. Because aron is the letters of awesome. Like we say that he's awesome over the Elokim. This represents this idea of him ruling over the Elokim in this way as well. קיצור, the קיצור of the קיצור. We explain the greatness of wisdom over foolishness. Or that's why Yisro is called from the language of greatness of light over darkness. That he went over all the different idols, and he did not find from them any existence to them. And this that he says, that he's greater than all the Elokim, like those strong ones, that you have those that are higher upon higher, and the one that's above them, the Sarosh Olam, the ministering angel of the world. But nonetheless, that it is really only Hashem who does whatever he desires. Because Havaya is greater than all the Elokim, to completely change the nature. Or even to enclose that which is beyond nature into nature. And that's drawn from something even higher. From the concept of that he is a divine of viewpoints, that he's higher than both viewpoints. And this is the concept of redemption every day, and sustenance every day. קיצור. So in short, and with this you can answer that which there is to understand. That since there's no Elokim, there's truly nothing else. What does it say? There's a battle to Havai Ba'amalek. There shouldn't be anything opposing. It's only him. What does it mean that Hashem, the Shem Havaya, will battle his enemies? And why is there the Shem Milchama Havaya Ba'amalek against the name Havaya? Maybe you want to say it's against the name Elokim, where there seems to be an opposite, but against Havaya, how could there be? What does it mean that there's a one lottery for Hashem and one for the other side? So how could they be opposite each other? But the concept is that there's, as he encompasses the worlds and as he fills the worlds, and these are two names of Havaya, like we say before, Kel Rachum, we say Havaya, Havaya. In comparison to, as he encompasses the worlds, everything's incomparable. But as he fills the worlds, you have this concept of this opposite this. So within the lower Shem Havaya, that's where you can have this. And look what is brought about the verse, that it's good to trust in Hashem more than trusting in man. Now in this concept, as he fills the worlds, it's written, it says that the sun in its sheath is Havaya and Elokim Shemesh Sam Oel Bahem. That he has placed a tent for the sun in them, Chama Banartik. the sun in its sheath, therefore, because of the hiding, because there's this sheath, you have this opposing side that seems to be there. Look what it says about this idea that from above, it's the idea of Ish Elokim, that from above is one half and from below is the other half. And that's where it says that there's a battle to Havaya and Amalek, and that Hashem should get up and send away his enemies. That there would be seemingly enemies to Shem Havaya, and he has to send them away. And this is the concept of haughtiness towards the heavens. Like the verse, if you lift yourself up like an eagle, but nonetheless, be'emes, the truth is, even in Mamalak Olalmin, that he fills the world's Namar, it says, that even there we say that Havaya is greater than all the Elokim. Because that, as he encompasses the worlds and as he fills the worlds, really it's all one. It's one Eibishter, not two, Chas v'shalom. It's the same Eibishter that encompasses, the same Eibishter that fills. But in the revealed state, as he encompasses the world, that's like the sun comes out of its sheath, in its strength. On this it says, see that I am the one, I am the one. Then there's no Elokim other than me. That this fact should be revealed in a state that you could see, and that's why it says you should see now. But nonetheless, that it seems that there is another side. Nonetheless, it's still that Hashem is greater. That everything he desires, he does. Because the truth is that also now there's no other. And the concept of there's none like you in Elokim, that he's like a sign amongst his army. We can understand what it's written, that Havaya is the Elokim, there's no other. That is in comparison to as he encompasses the worlds. Hu Elokim, he is the Elokim. Havaya is the Elokim, he is the Malak Olalmin. Therefore there's no other. So when it says Ein Kamocha Belokim, there's none like you amongst the Elokim are like the Tzava Shalo, and Ein Kamocha, that's like the Osub. That's how he explains that, and that they're similar. And this that it says in Tehillim, that now I know, that David said, Ki Gadol Havaya Chulu, that Hashem is greater. So what did David mean? We established what Yisro was saying, that Soviv and Mamalei are the same. But what did David mean? But David was saying that Hashem is greater, that's in Mamalei. That the Chiddush is that even in Mamalei, that there's this other side. That there's a battle to Shem Havaya and Amalek. Nonetheless, everything Hashem desires, he does. Because the truth is, I'm the one, I'm the one. That Soviv and Mamalei are all one, just like Yisro was saying. Only that in the time to come, this concept will shine in a revealed way. That's why it says that in that day Hashem will be one, because we'll be able to see the truth. But the truth is The Gemara asks, is now he's not one because it's true now too. So the Medrash Rabban Vanischanas does not explain the words of Yisro binyan echad im Hashem amar David in the same way that David explains it. Ki ani yodati ki gadol chulu, that now I know that Hashem is greater. But in the Medrash Rabbah of Koheles, that does not criticize the words of Yisro. He does. They are explaining the words of Yisro, that they are just like what David said, Alav Shalom, that Tzuvim and Mamalai are the same thing. That I know now that Havai is greater than all the Elohim.